the outset, I would like to thank the organizers for giving this opportunity. My work is made easier by talk by Kothari sir. I would start with the emphasis that ASD is not a situation where PAH is common. Whenever getting a PA, pulmonary artery hypertension, in a case of ASD, one should think twice and investigate, especially if it's a child. This case is presented in one of the PCSI. A lady with ASD with Eisenmenger, she is not pregnant, but the rash says it all. So clinical examination is a very important factor which tells you to pick up certain things such as connective tissue disorder in this particular case. A systemic desaturation, be it this case of ASD with the hepatic veins draining into the atrium, or this case of ASD where a left SVC which was causing cyanosis, or another case of ASD where actually a left SVC was again draining into the this was a very small ASD, so shunt may not be appreciated, but was significantly desaturated. So systemic venous anomalies are important causes which needs to be ruled out. And of course, all these things would get easily picked up with a good contrast injection, which would easily tell us that which of the chambers is actually getting filled up. Let me discuss a very interesting case of a 56-year-old. A 56-year-old who was detected to have, during pregnancy, a pulmonary artery hypertension. She was dyspneic on exertion, presented to us with a history of 7 days with increasing swelling of the feet. She was managed as lower respiratory tract infection at a local hospital, was discharged, but worsened and was readmitted to us. She was not able to lie down. And this was a scenario. She used to get admitted repeatedly in a local hospital. One of the places was labeled as significant PH to be evaluated later on. In one of my previous hospitals, where I had also seen this patient, I had written severe PH to be evaluated. Her vitals were effectively stable, but this time when she presented in emergency with a saturation of 42%, was immediately put on a BiPAP with a saturation of 80%. There was mild pallor, no clubbing. There was a significant edema, JVP was raised, and there were bilateral crepitations. The P2 was loud, but what is alarming, we can really see that there is a good ejection murmur, which we can see ejection murmur which is almost 2/6, and there is a hepatomegaly. So there is a clinical examination which gives a clue that there is a very good ejection murmur. She happened to be in type 2 respiratory failure. The ECG showed a sinus tachycardia, was intubated after trial of BiPAP, and inotropes were initiated. This was the echo which was done in emergency, and which is showing actually a bidirectional ASD with IVC which is highly collapsing. There were very poor transthoracic echo windows because of obviously the lungs were hyperinflated. She presented with the lung issues. The ASD was bidirectional shunting and the TR gradient was 85. Her pro-BNP levels were significantly raised, labeled as ASD-PH, and was started on broad spectrum antibiotics and ET cultures grows Klebsiella pneumonia. This was the initial X-ray at presentation. And she continued to be in this state. She was not able to come off the BiPAP when subsequently a chest X-ray which showed right lower lobe bronchostasis. And it was with infective changes. She was extubated, put on BiPAP, and her saturation was almost 90%. This was the, sorry with the video, but this, what we see is actually the ASD has started shunting left to right. So actually she was not an Eisenmengerized patient, but this particular bronchiectasis which was troubling her. Her IVC had nicely collapsing now in follow-up, and this was the ASD with a chest infection. So chest infection can confound many of these factors and can present with Eisenmengerized-like situation when they may not be Eisenmengerized. Interestingly, we took her to, and this was off the ventilator, but what was problem was that we were not able to even remove the BiPAP in this particular patient. Each time we used to remove the BiPAP, she used to get very symptomatic. So whenever dealing with a shunt lesion, I think the excessive flow during whenever the lung is confounded and we have an additional shunt lesion, these patients behave even worse. Took to cath lab, QPQS was significantly raised, there was a significant step up, her mean PA pressures were low. So actually we did a balloon occlusion of this ASD and subsequently devised this ASD, and she is doing wonderfully well. So the message actually goes is, always whenever we have a ASD, start looking also at the lungs, start looking at the chest problems which can present as symptomatic in this particular case. And whenever there is a lung issues and associated shunt lesion may actually worse with the presentation. She is doing symptomatically well in follow-up with normal PA pressures. So we published this in one of these series. This is one of the another case series which I have with Dr. Rajesh Sharma, the apicocaval juxtaposition with the ASD. That means it is situs solitus with a dextrocardia or a situs inversus with a levocardia, where the IVC, and we have this series, many of them are actually CTGs who have undergone a preparatory PA banding, and all of them presented with cyanosis. Effectively, because of the LV blood which is chronically going into the systemic circulation, over a period of time, the ventricle which is not receiving the blood, the EDs tend to grow up. We have another interesting case which has been presented, which Dr. Sharma, we discussed it, we were discussing yesterday, that what we postulate is not just the IVC blood which is draining into the other ventricle, it is also a chronically hypovolemic ventricle. The EDs tend to go up and gradually they start shunting right to left. So we have a case where the patient was not blue at the presentation, but because of this persistent EDs and the blood going into the systemic circulation, the bluish discoloration decreased over a period of time. So most of these cases actually present with cyanosis, and we have published this in it is a recent publication in IGA CTS, where a corrected CTGA with apicocaval juxtaposition can be one of the causes of central cyanosis. One of the another things which can present with ASD is actually a Lutembecker, which can be actually very much symptomatic. We have a case where a patient was actually diagnosed as Eisenmenger, was taken for a CT scan. Because of the way the child got symptomatic, was shifted to the echo lab, and there we found a very good ejection systolic murmur which was there. A very good ejection systolic murmur points against a diagnosis of Eisenmenger syndrome. Actually turned out to be Lutembecker syndrome in this particular case, was operated by Dr. Iyer. This was another case of malaligned ASD where IVC blood was actually getting routed to the left atrium, and this was a 1 year 8 kg child with the initial saturation of 85% and ASD shunting right to left. After device, the cyanosis resolved. It is always good to rule out associated distal shunt lesions such as VSDs. We have found almost few VSDs which were remotely located, and ASD being blamed as a culprit. Same is the story when PDA, associated PDAs, which often get, I'll just go through, skip this slide because it's more of a PDA. And closure of the PDA with the covered stent actually solved this ASD Eisenmengerized theory, that it was not actually ASD, which was PDA which was causing the problem. So this is one few cases from our PH clinic of ASD patients who had presented with significant cyanosis. 3 of them actually had methemoglobinemia. One required no treatment and improved. 2 of them were vitamin C, and most of the patients have improved saturation over the time. 4 were significantly upper airway obstructions. You ask the patient and they will say that the patient is having snoring. You go send to an ENT. One of the cases actually presented in emergency, was intubated, and the patient was intubated, a 7-year-old child was intubated a 4 French ET tube. So when asked, because of the significant tonsils, they couldn't intubate, and it was a case of ASD-PH. So before the patient was extubated, we got the tonsils removed and the Eisenmenger got treated. So this is how the ASD Eisenmengers can actually get followed up. We had a few on spinal deformities, awaiting correction in most of them. We have put on CPAP, and on CPAP they have shown significant improvement in oxygen saturations. 3 had connective tissue disorders, are under rheumatology follow-up. I would say that all of them have not really totally improved as far as the PA pressures are concerned, but RV function is better in many of them, but PA pressures continue to be systemic. We had a remote PDA, a missed PDA or a remote VSDs in almost a few of these patients. There were almost 4 of them, and who have improved after treating of the primary lesion. And associated obstructive lesions, particularly myelin stenosis and coarctation, may present with right-sided pressure overload with ASD getting the blame of being ASD pH, which improved. So symptomatic ASDs are a very small subset of patients. Rule out associated mitral disease, rule out associated shunt lesions, rule out other anomalies. ASD is most often a bystander. Thank you.
Thank you, Neeraj, for this wonderful presentation. And I think that shows a light. All of you people have to come together and start registry, and you will come to know many causes of pulmonary hypertension like this. I think we can discuss remaining things over the tea and just have a small break for a tea for 15 minutes, and then we can get together again.